Hey guys, welcome back to Bar Exam. It's your girl, Allie Rayner, and I'm here with my amazing Bar Exam crew. You already know how we do it over here. It's Mr. Marcus TV in the building and Mr. Eric G. I guess maybe the virtual building, but you guys get what I mean. Hopefully, we can actually all get in the building very soon. We're working on it. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Welcome back to the show. And this week, we actually decided to talk about an interesting topic. It was inspired by Marcus and his, I don't know where he found this, to be honest. I think this is a tweet that he found online. But honestly, it brought up the subject of artists or rappers being compared to each other when honestly, it feels like there is no comparison. A lot of times you see people put these two artists up against each other, and it's kind of like this apples to oranges kind of scenario. So, the tweet that actually inspired this whole thing was basically what they were saying is in the tweet, they go, when Cardi debuted, Nicki had already out rapped Kanye, Jay, Diddy, and Rick Ross. I'm sorry, we're comparing Cardi B and Nicki. Then they then go on to say, Nicki went toe to toe with Eminem and Wayne and was the highest selling female rapper of all time with 3 platinum albums and sold out tours. Compare Cardi with Doja, Lizzo, or Megan. Don't play with Nicki. And I can't lie, like this is definitely a comparison we've heard like time and time and time, and then even more so now, right? Like the VMAs happened, they had their moments, their husbands had their moments. And I feel like it's just that thing where, especially when it comes to like female rappers, it seems like because there's not so many of them on top, I guess, or maybe before there wasn't so many female rappers, it was like they were always gonna pit Nicki and Cardi B to each other. But I think this really actually made me understand the argument a little bit better and kind of like close it up a little bit easier. I mean, they're not wrong. Like honestly, you can say whatever you want about Nicki. She already has the streams, she has the fans. And lately her image is a little bit different. But like, let's not play like she didn't snap on Monsters. I think didn't we discuss it on here?
Yes, we
Oh
have.
yeah,
Yes, she definitely snapped. Definitely snapped.
yeah.
Right? And so, like, you got to, I now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, I can't think of a song that Cardi went on with like male rappers and snapped. I've seen her do it to other like female rappers who are up and coming or whatever, but I don't know. Have you guys seen that? I don't know if I.
So I think Cardi has trendy mainstream verses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when they come out, they hit and they last, they stand the test of time. But they don't. She hasn't had she has no monster moment. I can easily say that. Cardi
Yeah.
B has no monster moment where like you like, damn, this went toe to toe. Like there is no Cardi B verse like that. Now Cardi B she's monstered some people on some tracks, but it's
Yeah.
also trendy. And Eric mentioned this before, because of how music is right now, she can literally just kind of pick her shots. She doesn't have to come out with a project. She can come out with a song. She doesn't have an EP. She doesn't have to do anything and still stay relevant with just a song, with just a verse, and
Mm-hmm.
still keep her name relevant. Whereas Nicki had to do projects to keep her name relevant.
Yeah. And I think it's a little bit unfair that people automatically feel as though, like, don't get me wrong, Cardi has gotten amazing accolades. She's gotten amazing streams. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a big Cardi B fan. But I do think it's a little bit unfair for people to automatically think that because she's so successful, that now automatically means that she is the new queen of rap or something like that. I personally don't know, especially if we're gonna go off of like lyrically, album sales, like, and that's another thing. I don't know if we can compare people like that when Nicki Minaj has 3 platinum albums, and she doesn't have just one album. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Has one major album. It won awards. I think it got rap. What was it? Rap album of the year. I forgot where from. But it got awards. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything from that.
It was Grammy nominated for sure.
Yes, you're right. And I think she did end up winning that Grammy. I'm almost certain she did. I think it was Invasion of Privacy. I think that was because that's the only one that she has. She also has the mixtape, but that doesn't count. So that's the thing. It's like I think it's really unfair for people to try and compare them when you look at it like that. And it's like she hasn't been around nearly as long, hasn't been able to do those kind of things. But anyway, so I digress off of that. I feel like that tweet in general really summed it up very well. And so that's what kind of inspired this whole conversation that we're having today, where we're going to be coming before the bar. We're going to be basically discussing the artists that tend to be compared to each other that really shouldn't be. So you guys already know, I already dived into the tweet that Marcus had provided us. Because I don't want to be the only person talking on here. Does anybody want to jump in and give us who you guys feel like are some artists that are compared, but maybe it's just not the same? It's not comparable.
Yeah, I can kick it off with mine. So I picked one that I think we've kind of been hearing this a lot with these two in particular the past couple of years. But I think the more that time goes on, the more and more I think that that comparison is getting a little further and further away from each other. And the two people I'm talking about in particular is ESTG and Jeezy. So when ESTG first came out, he had this sound that he was really fucking with a few different type of producers that didn't really sound like any of the current Atlanta music that was out at the time. It sounded very original to himself, and in the pockets of the beats and in certain subject matters that he was talking about, and in even like the way he almost sounded too, it was very reminiscent of Jeezy. And people started saying that right around the time that his project Bigger Than Life or Death, and then the deluxe version, like once those projects were out and like off the ground and running, that's when I saw the comparisons be made the most. That, oh, he sounds just like Jeezy. He's kind of doing the Jeezy pocket, like he might be the next young Jeezy. And right there is where, like, I feel like, yes, musically you could have said that, but I felt like we still needed to see more out of what ESTG had to offer. And although I do like his last project, El Toro 2, that just came out, I feel like the further and further now that he's kind of elevated himself in his career, I feel like we're getting further and further away from that comparison. Here's why I say. Number one, Jeezy never really used melodies on any of his records. If you go back to one of ESTG's prior albums, Mad, that album that came out at the very top of the year, a lot of melody all over that project. A lot of, I guess you could say, like relationship talk, like he was kind of stepping out on the sound a little bit, kind of getting away from what made him like the most popular. And that was one thing that I saw right off the bat, was that Jeezy never really did that with any of his albums. He pretty much kept it solid all the way, except for the one album that was a little more politically driven. But even then, it still kind of kept in a line with the normal stuff that he talks about. So that was one. And then my biggest thing was that in order for Jeezy and ESTG for me to be comparable, ESTG would have had to have had a big movement, just like the Snowman tees were. And up until this point, I haven't seen it yet personally. And that's just my opinion. Like, I know ESTG has followers, he has fans. I'm definitely a fan of his, because I pretty much get anything new that he drops. But as far as like an actual movement that like really spearheaded Jeezy's career, the way that the Snowman tees did, the free Jeezy tees, like all of that, like it was very, very popular back in the day. And I just haven't seen ESTG have that strong of a movement yet. And to me, until something like that happens to catapult him to the next level, I don't think they can be compared under the same breath. Jeezy had too many influential moments, influential projects, Whereas we talk about the features and the songs that we hear from ESTG more than we talk about his actual projects. You know what I mean? Whereas with Jeezy, we can go back and talk about the Trap or Die tape and how influential that was when that first came out. Thug Motivation 101, like all of that. So I think that when it comes to those two, yes, sound wise they can be compared, but other than that, that's pretty much where it stops for me.
Okay, so you think it's the sound in like subject matter?
Very much so. Yeah.
But I think that's so unfair because like they're not the only people in the world to rap about those things. You know, like so. Also, are they even from like the same area? Like, could it be like, do they sound similar? Like, I never even listened to ESTG and thought Jeezy. I don't know. I never personally did.
That's just what I personally saw a lot, and I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Like again, I could see it from song patterns and like all of that, but as far as everything else goes, always thought that ESTG was kind of his own man and that Jeezy was his own man. And ESTG has even said it on albums that people are calling me the new Jeezy, so he's aware of it.
Oh,
Right.
I'm sure
So,
it's not like he's not self-aware.
Yeah.
Y'all remember the fight that just happened, Earl Spence and Crawford?
Yeah.
And remember, did you watch the fight? Did both of y'all?
I saw the highlights.
I didn't actually watch it.
Okay, so I watched the fight. So when Big X the Plug came out to Big, I'm from Texas, and I'm talking about everybody was rocking with it. They was doing the little moves. They was like, yeah. And then Eminem came out, and like the room just literally got deflated. Like you was like, damn. The fuck, like it's not looking good anymore. All of that. That's kind of how I felt with the ESG Jeezy. Like, yes, you in the moment because when I'm something, what's the song? Something special. I'm special remix.
Yeah,
Moneybagg Yo. That's my shit. That is my as long as she got to worry about getting as long as she got to worry about getting kicked out. As long as I got a key, like that shit. Them bars go. And then you play Trap or Die. And then you like, this AR that I'm holding got a gangster. I mean, come on. Like you can't like that's you like, yeah, damn, my bad.
Trap with mine, get your drama like the DJ. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? Like, come on.
It's like, what are we doing? Like, does it hit? Is it a go? Yeah, it do. But then Cat Williams said the best joke, on that, talking about a 300. Yes, that motherfucker looks like a phantom until a real motherfucking phantom pulls up next to that bitch.
Yeah.
So
that is like
that's the cleanest metaphor to make for it, because yes, it does look like a phantom, and yes, you be riding, and then when a real phantom, you be like, what you doing with this shit,
man?
So that's how I feel about ESG, and I do fuck with ESG too. Like this is not like a,
like he is not whacked by any means. Like he's good. He can rap. He can rap, but
do you think he has the potential to, like, I personally don't know if I've heard him have that song that's like a cultural moment, or like, oh, this is a class that's gonna go down forever, whereas like Jeezy does have those moments. Do you think people are just hoping that he's going to be that? We're going to have that one day?
I mean, based off of his affiliations, he has a chance because he's affiliated with Lil Baby. He's affiliated with Yo Gotti in his camp. So, like, he has a chance. He has a real shot. It just is all about, if he wants to pursue that. Now, I think the things like that interview with Bootleg Kev that happened over the summer, even though it was a thing where he walked out of the interview, it still got more eyes on him. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing where his name is relevant enough to where if something happens crazy enough with him, we'll hear about it. But as far as like getting to that next level, he still needs that record to get him to that next spot, in my opinion.
Okay. I feel like he's a current version of Ace Hill, in my opinion.
That's another good one.
I'm not even gonna lie. I actually have never heard of Ace Hill. Who is Ace Hill?
No, Ace Hood.
Oh, Ace Hood. They said Ace. I'm like, who the fuck is Ace Hill? Okay,
Oh
Ace
no,
Hood.
Ace Hood. Ace Hood.
Gotcha,
Ace
gotcha.
Hood.
Actually, I kept wondering what the fuck happened to Ace Hood until he popped up on Love and Hip Hop one day. But for a moment, Ace Hood had a moment, man. I will say,
Man.
I thought that he was gonna be the next one. I'm not gonna lie.
So did Khaled. Shit.
I feel like we may have discussed this on here.
Yeah,
Ace Hood like missing out on his moment.
he did miss out.
Yeah, he did. Damn.
We discussed it, but it's not.
Yeah.
It wasn't. He wanted to do other shit, and
It happened.
It happens.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's an interesting comparison. Okay,
Mhm.
thanks.
But kind of like with what Marcus just said, if he has a record like Bugatti,
Oh yeah.
like and you know what I'm saying, and Ace Hood wasn't even like yes, he was the main focus of the song because he's on most of the verses, but the main focus of the song is Future.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Even
Honestly,
though it's an Ace Hood song, the main focus of that song is Future. So if ESTG has one of those where he can still kind of be the focus but not be the focus, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It can happen.
yeah,
It can work.
yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. All right. Well, thanks, Eric. Thanks for that. That's an interesting. That's very interesting.
And
Now,
he provided like the perfect segue into mine.
perfect. I was gonna say you're up next anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, and it was like, and it was unintentional too. That's what made it so dope. Because I actually chose Future versus 2 Chainz. You know, both get compared a lot. You know, both. You know, like bar for bar, whose verse was crazier? Who is? And you're like, okay, damn. Everybody makes this comparison. Then you do a deeper dive into the numbers. And this, I'm gonna base this opinion because purely off of numbers. So on Billboard 100, on Billboard, Future has 168 songs, 10 top 10 hits, and 2 number 1 hits. I'm like, all right, that's a fantastic run. You know, that's Future. Then you go to 2 Chainz, only 40 songs, only 2 top 10 hits, and 0 number 1s. And when you look at it,
doesn't have a number 1 record.
Future does not have and that surprised me. I was shocked that Future has no number 1 hit on Billboard. And when it was a wow, like really, like it was. I was shocked, and so that's one of those you feel like, damn, you know, he gets all this comparison, Future, 2 Chainz, Future.
Yeah,
can't really compare those numbers. You can't, you know what they say.
Wait, Future doesn't have any number 1s, or 2 Chainz doesn't have any number 1s?
2 Chainz has no number 1 hits.
Okay.
Future has 2 number 1 hits.
Got you. Okay.
I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
For a second, I was like, wait, stop.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a second.
Future
Future
number 1s are. Hold on, let me go back to his number 1 is Way Too Sexy.
Oh yeah.
And Wait For You, featuring Drake.
Wow, I'm surprised both of them are because of, well, okay, let me not say because of Drake, but they're both Drake.
Way Too Sexy is Future and Young Thug. Both of his number 1s have Drake.
You know what I mean?
Wow. So could you can make the argument that Drake made.
I would, but that's a different argument for another day.
Yeah, I didn't know both of his number 1s had Drake.
I mean,
that's really crazy to me that 2 Chainz has no number 1s.
Yeah, I'm gonna send y'all. I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
Songs he's on. Is that why? Is it because because Future is featured? So, or are they technically both him and Drake's songs? So it's like equal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy because I just didn't think of it.
I didn't either. But wow. Okay, so yeah, I don't think it's a. I think
you can't compare the numbers.
I don't know why people would compare them. Like
because 2 Chainz has some crazy verses.
Okay.
I don't really know if you can compare them stylistically, though.
That's what I mean. I'm like, I'm trying to think like maybe like subject matter, but I'm like, don't a lot of people kind of like talk about hit those type of topics anyway? It's like, toxicity, but honestly, Two Chainz isn't really that toxic. He kind of seems more player about it, more like smooth, So I don't know. I'm surprised that people would try and compare them.
Well, you know where I think it comes from? I think it comes from the fact that, like, at a certain point, Two Chainz was the biggest artist in Atlanta.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like right around his debut album and when the True Religion mixtape with DJ Drama came out, Two Chainz by far was the hottest artist in Atlanta. Like not even close.
Wow.
Like not even close either.
Is that when Mercy dropped?
Yeah, right around. Yeah, Mercy was like a little after, might have been like 2013-14, but still right around that same time period. And you got to think Future's peak run didn't really start till like 2015.
Oh.
So I think that's another reason why is because at a certain point they were both looked at as the hottest artists in Atlanta, just during two different moments.
Got you. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. And then maybe because like you said, there's a tiny, almost an overlap, like of just a year or so. So, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Oh, wow. Mercy 2012. Okay, so a little earlier than I thought.
Oh, thanks, Shane. Shane's always keeping us honest. I will say that.
Big facts.
Big facts. Thanks, Shane.
But yeah, that's I agree with Marcus. Like I think that's the only way you can really compare them, because numbers wise and like impact wise, it's kind of bad to say that Future kind of cleared Two Chainz out of here with his impact, but he kind of did. He kind of did.
You think? I don't think that Future being successful takes anything away from Two Chainz.
No, it doesn't take anything away from Two Chainz at all. I just think that once 2015 and past that hit, I think that Two Chainz kind of takes more of a back seat. So whereas Future is like, at this point, he's off and running with it.
So I also want to say that Future taking a back seat. Two Chainz taking a back seat is also, I want to say, when Two Chainz decided that I'm going to do other things than rap. So
yeah,
it was like, it's like I'm here. I was here, and here this is Future. Well, shit, I don't need to do this. I need to go and do something else. That's when, because the Most Expensive is Vice, all of his other things. He kind of had that Marshawn Lynch run. Like I'm gonna go do hosting and TV shows and show up at NBA All-Star. And do other things, and so it wasn't a decline, but I'm in other arenas.
Okay, I got you. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, and then I also think it's interesting, like, that you pulled up the numbers like for hits and stuff like that as a comparison. What do you guys like? How do you even compare those things nowadays? Like, are we like comparing, like we're doing number ones and then we're doing like album sales or streams, like monthly listeners? Like I always get like confused as to what artists consider like the metric for them.
For me personally,
Billboard. But go ahead, Eric.
Okay. Yeah, for me personally, Billboard is a good metric, but what I'll tell you is that a lot of artists are looking at that monthly listener count.
Yeah,
they want that monthly listener count to be high. That is a very important metric to look at. Now, in the conversation that we're having right now, as far as comparing artists, it kind of goes back to what I said about like ESTG and Jeezy. If you're going to call someone the next this, like how people are calling ESTG the next Jeezy, there needs to be a clear-cut reason behind that, and like some type of facts to back that up. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think that in this conversation, when comparing numbers, especially with Jeezy and ESTG, number one, ESTG hasn't been out long enough, so it's unfair to make that comparison. That's why I don't like that comparison. Yeah. So he needs more time to be able to build a career, because at this point, Jeezy is solidified.
Mhm.
Like there is no questioning on him. ESTG still needs to put in a few more years, and then we can talk.
Got you. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Absolutely. Okay, well, let's get into the very last pick. Thank you, Marcus, for your pick because I thought that was pretty interesting, and one that I wasn't expecting at all, to be honest. But I'm glad that we talked about it, and I'm glad that Shane is also keeping us honest because I think it is kind of that overlap. I think it's like those years and. Like you guys were saying, like, yeah, 2 Chainz did have a very huge moment, and then it's interesting to see how it can't last forever. Like it does
Yeah.
kind of, start to move over. And when you are strategic enough to do those type of placements, like don't get me wrong, 2 Chainz is going to be on somebody's feature, goddamn it. But like Drake and Future having whole albums together, it's like, I mean, come on now, like that's different. That's a different ball game. You have a fucking album with Drake, you're gonna get some fucking number ones. You how can you not? So okay, thanks, Marcus. But all right, so for my pick, I decided to go with the pick that surprised me because I found it online. I was scrolling and someone posted it, and I was just like, what are these internets doing today? Like, what the fuck? So my pick is actually Travis Scott versus ASAP Rocky. For some reason, people want to compare them, and I think a lot of times it's for the shallowest things. Like people were like online when I saw it, they were like, oh, like so we're just gonna act like ASAP Rocky didn't steal like Travis Scott, or no, I'm sorry, we're gonna act like Travis Scott didn't steal ASAP Rocky's style and like his whole wave and like kind of just took his look and then like profited off it, blah blah. And I was just like, are we talking about like his hairstyle? Like, I can't see any other comparison between them, to be totally honest. And it kind of shows like, do you really listen to the music or are you just like their Instagram follower or something? Because if you listen to their music, you would kind of see, yes, they're both experimental. I will say that for sure. But ASAP has this like psychedelic rap type of vibe to him, whereas like Travis has these more like lo-fi, like he likes to work with these like weird electronic type of sounds and vibes, and they're just different. It's totally different. And then like when it comes to the movement behind them, like don't get me wrong, it's clear that they both have good pickings when it comes to relationships and all that kind of shit. But if we're gonna get down to it, I had to look up their numbers, and I was like, let me just see like if it's even close, if we're even in the ballpark. And shout out to the Ethos Media. I don't even know what to call him. Well, Shane, what would we call him? The president. We'll shout out to him. Him and I were talking, and he was like,
"The man behind the mirror."
Right. But so basically what he was saying, he was like, how can you compare? Because I was asking him, I was like, how do people like compare this? What metrics do they use? And he was like, let's just do a quick Google search. He was like, Travis Scott's Astroworld did 4 million album sales. Okay. ASAP Rocky did 4 million sales in his entire career. Okay. So like, that's where it's like, we have to really, if we're going to talk numbers, then that's a good metric for you to look at. And then how Eric had said, the monthly listeners. And that's one that I can easily go to just as a consumer and be like, oh, I feel like this guy has to be more popping because he has just more monthly listeners, So Travis Scott has 63.5 million monthly listeners and ASAP Rocky has 29.4 million. The thing is like, and that's still amazing numbers. Like, don't get me wrong, but Travis Scott is over here talking about freaking trying to do concerts at the fucking pyramids, in Egypt. Like, don't get me wrong, I think that ASAP Rocky could sell out a concert and all that kind of stuff. But Travis Scott has become a whole different type of like brand, money machine. There's a lot going on over there. There's a lot of money behind him as just him as an artist, and I feel like I'm not trying to take away from ASAP Rocky, but I feel like his relationship has helped him get back in the media. Okay. Like when you have children with Rihanna, how are you not going to pop up? How are you not going to become, a part of the conversation again? but I don't get where people were trying to compare them in the first place, because it's not, besides the hair. Other than that, I'm like, I don't get it. It's not the streams. It's not, the concert. It's not that. But what do you guys think about that comparison?
Marcus, you go first because I might ramble on mine. I'll try not to, but
are you sure? Because I'm going super petty. So
I am too.
Okay, all right. So yeah,
let's shoot.
We'll see. We'll see if your petty can out petty mine.
Probably not, but let's
Hey, keep it like this because I want to see y'all faces as I say this. So, like you said, first of all, if I had to pick between if I want to go to an ASAP Rocky show or a Travis Scott show, I'm gonna pick ASAP Rocky. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe at a Travis Scott show. And then you said, oh well, Travis Scott is doing shows at the pyramids. The pyramids are international. The pyramids are in Africa. You want to know what's not? You want to know what's not at the pyramids?
What?
OSHA regulations, safety regulations, things that will make me feel safe at a Travis Scott show internationally. If you can't have a show in the United States with nuts and bolts and cranes and union operators and WD-40 and shit, I'm not going to go pay for you to go see Africa. We just saw everybody in the world just saw the Renaissance and the Beyonce tour, right?
Yeah.
From a production, she had 3 different sets because the sets take a week to put together. Travis Scott was taking his shit and going like a circus, like from different parking lots to different parking lots, and some screws and bolts wasn't together, and people hurt. No, so no. And then ASAP Rocky is dating Rihanna. Rihanna just did the Super Bowl and floated amongst the whole stadium, pregnant, and did not fall. Because she trusted the safety regulators that Travis Scott should have hired. Now, yeah, I'm not fucking with ASAP Rocky I'm not fucking with Travis Scott in a Travis Scott show. He can. I will continue to be a monthly listener, but I will not be in attendance.
From the safety of your home.
Yeah, from the safety of your own home.
Yeah, it's not fat. His shows are not fat people friendly. EMS could not even get to me. That's not.
I cannot with you.
Oh,
but what about past the? Because it's. I can't lie. I always think about that when I think about Travis Scott lately. I'm just like, somehow this nigga is still out here, even after that crazy ass incident. Like that was a real
crazy ass incident. Still selling tickets.
That's what
selling out too.
This man,
selling out shows too.
People lost their life at his concert. And they're like, you know what? Maybe we should go to the pyramids. It's like, wow, like he can't be stopped. There's so much money behind it. That's what I mean. It's like he's that successful. He's making that much money for people. I'm like, how can you even? And don't get me wrong, that ASAP is gonna if you go to New York or something like that, I'm sure he can. And I personally, I think I started off as an ASAP Rocky fan, so it's not even for me to be because I'm a fan of I actually am a fan of ASAP Rocky, but if we're talking about who's bigger and whatever, it's got to be Travis. But also, we can't say that Travis bit off of ASAP Rocky. I don't see it in me personally. I haven't seen it. Looking at their careers, I went through trying to see the comparison. I just don't see it, except for they both came up off of mixtapes, but a lot of niggas did. So that's not real.
Yeah, that don't mean nothing.
If Chris Brown went through his situation with Rihanna, and if he had a car dealership sponsorship, and that car dealership still kept him employed during his situation, people would still not buy that car today.
Oh yeah,
today. Would today.
And they still freak out when his name is mentioned at awards and stuff like that, and I'm like,
when's the last time you seen anybody walking around with Wiggly's double mint gum?
Shit, I don't even know.
He was the sponsor for them.
Was he really?
Brown was, yeah.
What?
Swear to God, all the commercials and all that. Ain't seen a double mint piece of gum since then.
Who was? But
out of commission. They're out of. You was
okay,
back to
to be
Chris
fair,
Brown. Shut the whole damn thing down.
who was selling Wrigley Spearmint gum before Chris Brown?
Right, like.
So
dang.
don't.
Ooh, yeah, who was the first?
I'm just saying.
Nigga, was it Cosby? Give me some
Oh
gum.
no! Oh my God! Don't even let
Oh
me
man.
start saying some inappropriate jokes soon. So anyway, Eric, how did you like? What were you gonna say though? Because you're like, I don't want to ramble, but I feel like you had something you wanted to say.
I won't, and I'll just keep it similar to what I was saying about ESTG and Jeezy. This is a 100% fan made up comparison.
Yeah.
There is no comparison between Travis and A$AP Rocky. I was around the blog era when this was like prominent comparison going on. All the little ass Travis Scott fans, all the little ass A$AP Rocky fans, and I was in the mix, so I can't even act like I won one of them. But being amongst that, just watching them go at each other's throats about how Travis bit A$AP Rocky's whole style, and he took his hair and he took the way that he releases out. It's like, yo, what are y'all talking about? Like, first, the first thing that to dispel the whole comparison thing, Travis has his own festival that he throws every year.
Hello.
Whereas I don't. When's the last time A$AP Rocky even went on tour?
Man, I don't even know exactly.
When's the last time A$AP Rocky even released an album?
Hello.
A song.
A
single.
Barbados ain't got Wi-Fi. He don't need to.
I think
that, and that's fine. But then don't compare them and Travis anymore. Then like Travis is still regularly dropping music yearly.
Yeah. I think, let me look it up. Let me see. Because let me not do my boy A$AP like that. I did hear he dropped something, but let me see.
And I ain't shooting at A$AP Rocky because I fuck with A$AP Rocky, but I'm just saying and the other thing about the comparison is that they've both let it get into each other's heads because they don't fuck with each other either.
What?
Swear.
You think
they
don't have like the style? You know what I mean? Like maybe they don't have a reason to have like because I don't know if I would expect them to jump on a track together. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So Rocky did drop this year.
Yeah,
first solo track of 2020.
But he didn't drop an album. But you're right. I think he did do a track, but it wasn't. I'm looking like it looks like the last album was in 2018, but I could have sworn. Oh damn, yeah, it was. It was called Testing in 2018. For some reason I thought the Allah one at Long Last A$AP. I thought that one came out like that was in 2015.
Well, that's because people didn't like Testing.
Got you.
Yeah, people didn't like that album, so they kind of just pass over that.
Yeah.
Like people like his last really good album was that at Long Last A$AP or whatever the name of it was.
Yeah, at Long Last.
You know what I'm talking about though. His second sophomore album.
Yeah.
But like as far as their comparisons, as far as musically, not even close. Not anymore, anyway.
And then it's interesting that you say that because honestly, I thought like people who are our fans couldn't possibly be the ones making this shit up, you know. But it's funny that you're like, no, it's precisely the people who really listen to their music are the people that are somehow comparing them. Maybe I just don't. Maybe we're missing something. I don't know. But I'm glad that you are somebody who was like in the blog and who was like a part of, you know, kind of, you can see from both sides and you can be a little bit more, you know, unbiased. I feel like you have a better perspective about it, you know?
Yeah, because I'm telling you, right around that time, the fans would say stuff to Travis and Rocky in interviews, or you would see like random videos pop up of like someone calling Travis A$AP Rocky or vice versa. And you can see them visibly getting upset about it or running up on them and being like, I'm not no fucking A$AP Rocky, shit like that. So I'm telling you, and then when you see them talk about each other in interviews, it's never positive. It's always very passive aggressive. So that is one beef that I think was 100% manifested by the fans.
Man, his damn fans, man. The damn internet, man,
crazy.
Starting some bullshit all the time.
Hey, we're gonna have to have a show about who has the worst fans.
Oh my god, shit! Beyonce, Nicki. Who else got some shitty ass fans?
Drake.
I'm just saying, I say that they're bad in terms of they do the most. They do too fucking much. Like Beyonce.
Kanye, oh my
do.
god,
Oh,
Kanye's fans are the
Kanye's
worst.
got stands.
You think so?
Yeah, Kanye might be his might be the worst
Why? I feel like I say
because
Beyonce,
they will defend anything he does.
And the Beehive don't?
Anything, even all the dumb shit.
oh gosh.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, like even all the dumb shit. Like even when no man,
Oh.
he's just being creative. You don't understand how he thinks. You know that's how they talk.
Bitch,
Yo!
that's
You know it.
Every fucking time. And I'd be like,
yeah, because
shut the fuck up,
they
man.
did defend that trash bag shit, and I was mad as a motherfucker. Like, it's not a trash bag. It's his
You
artistic.
don't understand fashion.
It's the world as he sees it in a plastic container. I was like,
trash motherfucking
that's
bag.
a fucking trash bag.
Bro.
Fucking
Niggas over here walking around fucking Italy with no shoes on and shit. Like, I really wish that somebody would have, like, some of the fans for Kanye would have been like, all right, there is a reality in that you can do wrong. Okay. Like Kanye is not like some idol where he just cannot do any wrong and it's always going to be creative and it's always going to be, no, like sometimes people walk out the house looking crazy as fuck and they think they look fly and that shit is not it. Or they say some crazy shit. Like when he was going on that press run and just saying the most crazy shit, sometimes I was like, you know what, let me look this shit up. Maybe he got something. And sometimes like some of those layers in there, like that Nazi shit, I was like, hold on, Nazis in that microphone stuff. I never thought about it. But
it wasn't true.
You know what?
I swear I believed it when he said it because I didn't know. Then when I researched and realized it wasn't true, I was like, what the fuck? This nigga on some Charlie Sheen shit. Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
But that's the thing, is like he said it wrong. Like so apparently there is a company that makes like very like world-renowned microphones that apparently it started off with like designs from a Nazi microphone or some shit like that. Like, because they were into technology too and trying to do crazy shit, you know? But it's not like it was Hitler who was like the owner of the company and was like, I want this microphone so that everybody will somehow be a Nazi. Like, no,
yeah.
not.
Yeah. The thing about Kanye is that he'll say things without saying too much and just leave it at a blanket of enough of a statement. But the thing is that he doubles down on it.
Yes.
Until way later when the facts are completely wrong, and then it's like he has to come out and be like, oh, nah, I ain't mean it like that. This is how I was really thinking. Like, we've seen him do that on the slavery was a choice comments.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, this is a ongoing thing with him. And again, these are things that his fans will defend to the death. Yeah. Because they love Jesus and his Adidas shoes and shit like that.
And like, even if he came out with his line and said, like, you know, like what Balenciaga started off as a social experiment, like we're gonna come up with the ugliest concepts and then throw this ridiculous price tag on it and see if people still buy it, and then it worked. So then now that's like, oh, them shoes ugly, but y'all still buy them. But you know, it was a social experiment and it turned into a high fashion line. So I get what Kanye was doing when he said, oh, I want to make homeless clothes and homeless fashion, you know, fashionable in high market, you know, because there are people who do dress like this as bums and I don't want them to be seen. You know, you're paying for a bum fashion. I get the logic behind it, but my nigga, that's still a fucking trash bag.
Yeah.
Like,
and honestly, like you said, I'm so glad that you brought up that it was an experiment, because I be seeing their like ads and shit, and I'm like, this feels like y'all are baiting us into like, let's just see how dumb they are this week, you know, or like, let's see if we can get these motherfuckers to pay $15,000 for this ugly ass, dirty ass pair of shoes. Like when I saw, I think it was Balenciaga, or it might have been some other brand, but it was similar. It was a super high fashion brand that had gotten like some fucking canvas Vans or something, but obviously not the Vans logo, but some canvas fucking shoes, dirty as hell. Like, I'm like, I don't know if somebody actually like put that on some bum's feet for like months at a time, or if they literally just painted that shit on. I don't know, but it looked so nasty, and there was holes in it and everything. And then they were like, "Yeah, we're dropping these shits for like 5,000." I'm like, what?
Shit's
And
dumb.
so it was like, "Oh, those are so hard." I'm like, "You have those. You have those in your closet right now. Like, what are you talking about? Everybody got some busted ass shoes. Get
And
the hell
guess what? It's selling out.
It is selling out.
Selling out.
It's really ridiculous. But anyway, we went off on a little bit of a tangent. In general, though, we were talking about comparisons that are just not. Just there is no comparing these people. And it originally started off with we everywhere right now. Like, what is going? I'm like, what does Marcus got to say now? He must got something important to say. Just,
nah, I'm chilling.
it's all good. I'm sorry. No, we love you, Shane. I'm kidding. Anyway, this was actually a really fun conversation. If you guys have like, I think I love that Marcus pulled this up from a tweet that kind of like, well, sometimes tweets be on some bullshit because people just say any fucking thing. But this one, I think was very valid. So to the viewers out there, thank you, of course, for listening. Comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. But also, if you have like subjects that you guys want us to talk about, for sure, bring it up. Send it to us in the DMs if you have to. We have an Instagram. We have our YouTube channel. You can put it in the comments. And, we like these kind of conversations where, it'll be sparked from something that we see online, especially something that is being talked about in the culture and all that kind of stuff. So definitely send it our way. And remember to check us out every single Monday for a new episode of Bar Exam. Thank you guys so much for watching. Me and the crew will see you guys next week for another episode. Bye, guys. This is Bar Exam.